Testing, testing, one, two, three. Alrighty then, I think this is recording and hello. Hi, it's me, TR Perry. I'm so excited to be back with you guys and actually we've got a little bit of a new setup. I have actually moved states. I now live in Georgia and I'm using a new microphone. This is called the Blue Snowball. I am using it for recording a podcast, which is what I'm doing right now. So I am recording a video podcast for you guys. So this is a little bit of a new platform for me. So I'm excited to be able to mix those two things together. But let's get right into the video. Hi, it's me, TR Perry. One other thing I realized about myself is that I'm actually an author tuber and not a booktuber. So yeah, that's something I've learned, and it turns out that booktube is where people talk about books, but authortube is where people talk about their own books and their own ideas, and so that's me. So yeah, welcome. Today in this video and podcast, for those of you who are listening here, thank you for coming back. It's great to be with you all. Today we're going to be talking about the book that I wrote, Rose Wielder. I wanted to give you guys an update on how that's going, how that's been going. I've had multiple people read it. I've had a couple of people review the book as well, so that's been really exciting. I've had a couple excited fans get back to me, so it's been really cool seeing how the book has had an impact already, and I look forward to continuing to have more impact, especially as right now I am working on book 2. And yeah, that should be coming out pretty soon. I am excited. Oh my gosh, there's a spider. Is that, oh my, okay, I'm gonna give, oh my gosh, it jumps. Here, I'm using my shoe. I think I'll keep this in the video because it's pretty exciting. Oh my gosh, I hope it died. Oh my gosh, it's dead. Okay, let's get back to the video. Continuing on, hey guys, so yeah, today I wanted to talk about the book that I'm writing, and just a little bit more. I wanted to share the basic plot so that you all know what you're getting into when you start reading it yourselves. I will leave a description in the link below so that way you guys can know where you can go get this book. It is available on Amazon right now, and so you could get it as a Kindle or as a paperback. And at some point soon, I hope to be able to bring out an audiobook version, but that probably won't be for a while. And sorry if there's anything you're hearing outside, like I'm just near a window, so we've got some daily traffic going around. All right, so Rose Wielder, what is it about? Why should you read it? Well, first of all, if you're here, you probably already want to read it, but in my last podcast, just to catch up those of you who weren't here, we spoke about how the reasons why I got interested in women's issues and issues of race, and how those things overlap and the intersectionality of those two things. And so I finished off that podcast by saying, hey, you know, the book I'm writing and the kinds of books I like to write and the content I like to create centers around those things. It centers around the intersection between race, between race and femininity or women's issues. So the book that I wrote, it's called Rose Wielder, as most of you already know, but this is a book about a girl. Her name is Arabella. She's the main character of the book. She is mixed between black and white, and she has these two kinds of heritage in her bloodstream, obviously, but she was born into a predominantly white kind of nation. The nation is called Promethea, and she is the daughter of the king and queen. So, you know, she's obviously royalty, and the challenge for her is to figure out how she is supposed to, you know, become this next royal ruler in a land that does not value the other half of her culture. So the black part of her culture is called all the people that are living there, they reside on an island called Melinda, and they have been brought aside. So the beginning of the book explains this, but basically hundreds of years ago and whatnot, the Melindan Island wasn't an island. It was the people were living in a large swath of land, and when the early Prometheans came, they wanted to take over that land and expand themselves. So they worked with other neighboring nations to bring the Melindans down because they claimed to have some sort of dark arts or dark magic that they were wielding that kept the Melindans very strong and powerful. So they turned them into an enemy, connected other allies, and then slowly began conquering not just the Melindans and taking over their land and territory, but also expanding to become a full empire and slowly taking over the other nations that they had allied themselves with. So the Prominthia that you see in this book today is the result of those hundreds of years of creating an empire. And then you have the leftover Melindan people. Once they were able to conquer them, they set them aside and basically quarantined the people on an island and said, okay, that's the new Melinda now. So that's where this book begins. And so you have this young girl, she's 16 years old, and she is, knowing that she's gonna have a big responsibility ahead of her. People are superstitious and don't really trust people of Melindan heritage, but of course she has that in her bloodstream. Her mother is Melindan and her father is of the larger white Prominthian race. So she is obviously coming in with a bit of a challenge here. So you can already see how I put a lot of the things that I'm interested in into this book. So we have race intersecting with women's issues. So she's not just struggling with the fact that she is of Melindan descent, she also has to struggle with the fact that she is female. And, women in the context of the book do not always garnish as much respect as men. And more than that, they have more issues and challenges with different male relationships. So when we dive right into the book, she has just found out that she is going to be put into an apprenticeship situation so that she can learn the trade of ruling her kingdom. She is brought to the new palace of her uncle, actually, who's the one that is in charge of training her and other young noblemen and noble women who will all be trained for their crafts. So we're bringing all the provinces together, and we have Arabella coming into this place. It's all white faces, and she has to, begin to navigate this world. So her parents have been extremely protective of her up to this point, understandably so because of her racial makeup. So they haven't really let her leave the palace before. No one's really met her before or seen her except from maybe afar. So this is her first time really interacting with the outside world. Taking a deep breath for a second. Okay, so continuing on, there's definitely a lot to unpack here that we could already go into, but just to get in a little further of the story that she's coming into, you have her coming into this new land. They are made to get partners for whatever area that they're in charge of. Basically, they divide the whole kingdom into the different provinces, and they are each assigned with a partner to one province to overlook that area. She's been assigned, surprise, surprise, to Melinda because they just assume that because of her racial makeup, somehow she is most qualified to do that, I guess. Anyway, so they put her there, and she starts to meet some friends in that initial meeting. The first two people she meets, all the pictures I'm sharing here, I hope it makes sense, are from a stock-free website called Unsplash. I'll actually link them down below as well because I just think they're really cool. Yeah, this video isn't sponsored or anything, but I just think it's a really cool website because they have really high-quality images, and it helps to, bring an awareness to different artists. And as a freelance artist myself, I just think it's really awesome to bring awareness to people that are trying to do something and bring something beautiful into the world. So this is what I imagine her two friends coming in. You have her cousin who is has extremely curly hair, and then on the other hand you have her other friend that she makes. And okay, so her curly haired cousin, her name is Crystal. She's bubbly, she's excited, and she has a strange obsession with Melindan people. She finds them extremely attractive, so that's cool. And then you have her other friend that she makes, and his name is Alex, and he is extremely kind-natured, just really sweet. And so she just has some really cool friends. And then she meets her partner for the apprenticeship, and his name is August Frederick the Ninth, or actually Augustus. But you know, the shorter version of his name is August. So he goes by August, although if you want to go into the full title, it's Augustus Frederick the Ninth. But anyway, he is extremely dashing and handsome and wonderful, and you know, they're really excited to become partners, and she's obviously blushing and whatnot. It's cool to meet this guy, and yeah, you can already see some sparks starting to fly. Okay, so some things that she's gonna have to encounter in this book include, one, figuring out and navigating her guy relationships, because there's different things where it's like, okay, will she be respected by men? Will she be manipulated by men? She has to deal with that and understand who is a friend to trust and who is someone that actually is double-faced. And yeah, and then the other thing she has to really deal with is her own uncle, Uncle Jacob. So that's the father of her cousin, Crystal. And he's in charge of the full apprenticeship and everything, but there's definitely times where she gets some microaggressions, sent towards her by him or other people that are working there, because they just have a certain view of Melindans. Then you get into how her friends try to start, you know, challenging her to go and see what the Melindan Island is like for herself. So they actually start bringing her there, and you can see in these pictures here, the way that I've described it in the book is that the island isn't really completely an island. It's more like a peninsula, but you could also think of it as an island. I'm pretty sure in the book I called it like it looked like a dollop of sour cream. So you could just imagine that kind of shape forming. And yeah, the people are just completely quarantined off. They have basically pretty dilapidated buildings because no one's really coming to their aid or to, you know, finance things for them. But so they definitely a humble area, but the people inside are vibrant and filled with life, and it's up to her friends and herself to start questioning things, start understanding who she is. And then she also starts having a lot of different dreams and nightmares where she's just feels like there's something inside of her, like there's some sort of magic power coming through. And as you'll see, she starts experiencing some sort of connection to heat and fire. So I'm not going to really spoil it past there. That's kind of like the first couple chapters of the book. So yeah, you get to go with her and understand what she is going through, what questions she's going to ask, and different things she has to understand about her own culture. There's definitely a sense of shame that she feels because she hasn't been exposed to it before, but she has to put on her learner's hat in order to understand more about herself, her culture, her people, and her friends. So that about wraps up what the book is about. And yeah, just to finish this video off, I just wanted to say I'm excited to be back here on YouTube, and also you can find me through podcasts, and that's through Spotify, Apple. I think there's a couple other places I'm on as well. I will link it in the description box below. I just can't think off the top of my head. So be sure to listen through video and through podcast. And yeah, I'm glad that now that I've made this move and now that I am, you know, set and stable and whatnot, I'm excited to start bringing you guys content regularly. So I should be posting about once a week. I've already started posting through the podcast, and I try to post about once a week there as well. So there will be some overlap and in this as well. So there will probably be multiple times that I'm recording what I say on the podcast and on the video, but we'll see how it works out. There will be sometimes it's the same, sometimes it might just be easier to make them separate. Okay, so yeah, that's about brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you all are having a great day. And yeah, once again, I'm sorry that I have been an author tube this whole time and have been calling myself a booktuber. I don't know, it's the nuance, I guess. Yeah, and like lastly, I'll put in the description box below my Instagram account, so you all can follow that as well, for those of you who are here on YouTube. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!